Hi everyone, welcome to my Facebook Live this week. My name's Mandy Witherby and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Sydney, Australia. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me this week, whether or not you're joining live or joining me on the replay later on. So you might notice everything is a bit back to front today. So there's a few more technical issues with Facebook on addition to last week's. So I need to change the way I do it again. Yeah, so I noticed when I went live on Saturday, some extra additional issues arose. So yeah, it's a bit of a pain, but just continually finding new workarounds, so all good. So while I'm waiting for everyone to jump on, I'll just go to my iPad and just call up this live so I can see all your comments. Okay, I'll turn that volume down. And we will find this. Okay. Great. So as you're jumping on, say hi. Let me know that you're here. And if it's your first time watching, welcome. And let me know where you're watching from. So I noticed too on the playback that it's looking like it's a little bit jumpy or delayed in some way. I don't know, it's just looking a bit different. So I'm wondering if Facebook's actually doing something, there's no K at the end of that word, doing something strange with their Facebook Lives at the moment. I don't know. I know that a lot of people are using Facebook Live right now and a lot of other social media because of all the social isolation and distancing and all of that. So yeah, I'm guessing that it's probably been inundated, but I'm wondering if they've made changes at the same time. And often they make these changes and they don't tell us. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, we'll keep going with it and see how we go and make alterations as we need to as we go along. Hey, Angie. Great to see you. Thanks for jumping on. Hi, Adele. Oh, welcome from the Central Coast. Great to have you here. Thanks for joining me today. So yeah, so interesting. So now what I have to do, as I discovered on Saturday with my lives, rather than actually flipping the camera view, I actually have to flip the entire camera. So I have to take it out of my holder and completely flip it over when I go down to the desktop. So this first little part, everything will be back to front. So if I do hold anything up to the camera to show you, it will look back to front. But there's not much I can do about that at the moment because it won't let me flip my camera. Well, it will, but if I flip it, what happens is the view becomes very stretched. And so then I end up with this really fat, short head. And it looks really weird and it distorts everything. So we won't do that. We won't do that. And when I was just testing it before I went live, I tried to flip it back to normal, but because I had it in that stretched mode for too long while I was trying to fiddle with other controls, it actually got stuck on that mode even when I transferred it back to the original, well, I flipped it back to the original screen. So that was annoying. So I had to cancel it and then start again. So yeah, so we'll keep going with it anyway and see how we go. And if there's any issues as we go, I will let you know and we'll go with it and see what happens. Okay, so, all right, so we've got someone jumping on there that should not be. So we'll just block that one. I had a weird one jump on last week as well, right at the end. And I'm like, I don't think you're on the right channel here. So, okay. So hopefully we won't have any more interruptions with that one. So all good. So weird. Weird things are happening at the moment with social media, aren't they? I don't know if you're finding that, or maybe it's just, you know, as a demonstrator when you're hosting, these live events and things like that, getting some unusual people sort of jumping on that would not normally be watching a crafting video, if you know what I mean. So, oh dear. But anyway, all right, so I've got lots of news for you all today. So yeah, continue to say hi as you're jumping on. If you're joining us a little bit later or again watching the replay, let me know that you've watched the replay. Just type in replay so I know that you've seen the replay, and that's really helpful for me. And then feel free to comment as I'm going through as well. And if I miss your comments as I'm filming, I always do go back and check them later. So I will respond afterwards. So don't feel that I've forgotten you or missed you. I just may not have seen it straight away, and I'll have to go back to it. So my screen on my iPad has frozen. I'm just wondering if my internet has jumped out. Okay, sorry then if that just froze. I just noticed on my playback on my iPad that froze then and then went a bit jumpy. So I'll have to keep an eye on that and see how we go. The internet might be having an issue today too for some strange reason. But anyway, we just go with the flow, don't we? That's all we can do. So as I was saying, keep commenting, say hi, give me a thumbs up so I know that you're here, and I'll get on to our news for today. Okay, so what's everyone been doing to keep yourselves busy while we're in this time of self-isolation or lockdown or whatever you want to call it? What do they call it in America? I forget what the term that they use in America, but it's a much nicer term than lockdown. Yeah, so let me know in the comments what you've been doing, how you've been keeping busy. Have you been doing any craft at all? You've been sending out those cards of encouragement that we talked about last week to uplift others. Let me know what you've been doing. So I've been making quite a few cards. I've got a few here to show you actually in a moment. Yeah, so I've made quite a few over the last few days. I did have a class. Hi Leslie, great to see you. Thanks for jumping on. Yeah, so I had a class an online class with my Technique Club on Saturday. So I'm going to talk to you a bit about that in a moment. And then from there I went on to make some more cards. And yeah, so I've been quite busy. And then of course I'm organized today. I have a project already prepared for us today, and I've already made up the kit and I've got all the measurements and everything. So I'm all organized today, which is awesome. A little bit sleepy, hence the bags under the eyes. Tried to hide them with a little bit of makeup, but yeah, I did have a little nap this afternoon, I have to say. I was up very late and then had to get up early this morning to go to the physiotherapist for my back. And yeah, so then I was exhausted. So by the time I got home and had lunch and all of that, then I just took a little rest. So we need to do that sometimes, don't we? We need to look after ourselves. So that's what I did. And so now I'm good to keep going now for the rest of the day. I've had my little power nap. Yeah, so let me know what you've been doing. What have you been doing to keep yourselves busy? And have you been doing any exercise and walking? I have all good intentions every day of jumping on my treadmill and having a little walk. And I think in the last week I've been on there once. So I've been a bit naughty. I've been in my craft room a lot. So yeah. Yeah, it's not doing the exercise that I should be, but I haven't been eating as much, so that's good. So yeah, I kind of thought that I might be snacking a bit more being at home, but I actually haven't. So I've been a good girl. So that's good. Okay, so so one thing I did do over the weekend. Now, what day was it? I can't remember which day it was, but I did make a special gift for a friend of mine. I can't show you well, I can't show you because it's packaged up ready to give to her, but I do have photographs of it. So I will post up those photographs after I give it to her. But yeah, I had a lot of fun making. Hi Rose, great to see you. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, I had a lot of fun making it, and it's really beautiful, so I can't wait to show you the photos, but in a day or so I'll be able to post those photos up. Yeah, it wasn't a card, it was a 3D project, so I'll show that photo, yeah, soon, so watch out for that one. I was going to tell you about my technique club on the weekend. So the technique club is changing slightly because of course I've had to move everything online. Hey Danielle, great to see you. Thank you for joining me today. Yeah, because I've had to move everything online, my technique club used to be face-to-face with an online component as well, tacked on for people that couldn't get here or people that live out of area and still wanted to participate. But I've tweaked that even further now because of the coronavirus situation that we're in. Yeah, so I'll tell you more about that in a moment because that's actually going to be available for everybody. I used to keep it at just a small group of maximum of 6, and now I'm opening that up so that anyone can join in. So I'll tell you more about that at the moment, but I thought you might like to see the sorts of things that we do in Technique Club, because you might be wondering, well, what's a Technique Club? What do you do? You know, and what does that entail? So first of all, I'll show you what we did on the weekend. So I was teaching the ladies the baby wipe swipe technique. So if any of you have tried that, let me know. It's a fantastic technique, very addictive. Once you start, you just want to keep playing with it. Really messy though. You have to have disposable gloves on and plenty of clean baby wipes as well for your cleanup as you go. But yeah, it's a really lot of fun, and we made beautiful, beautiful backgrounds, and we put together to make cards. Now I'll show you what we do. So in our Technique Club, we have a little folder. Now mine's not decorated. Some of the ladies decorated theirs up. I'll just move back a little bit so I can hold it up. Some of the ladies decorated their folder up beautifully. I haven't. I've kept mine plain because mine is just the sample. And I think I may have shown this a couple of times before. So this is my Technique notebook. And yes, everything is going to be back to front because I can't flip the camera at the moment because Facebook is doing weird things. So we have this Technique notebook. I haven't even got my name on there. I really do need to fix that. I need to put my name on there. And so in this notebook, we keep a copy of all of our techniques. So what we do is on the first page, we have, I don't know how I'm going to hold this up. Oh, there, that way is better. Because now I'm going in the reverse. I can hold things up on the other side. So we have our list of the different techniques we've done, and this class has been running, or this club has been running for 6 months now. So we've done these 6 techniques here, and each month we add to our list. And then as we go through each month, I give everyone the list of the supplies that you need for the technique and the basic overview of the technique and how to do the technique. And then we make a little sample to keep in our folder or our notebook. And then so we have a different one for each month. This is a monthly club, and I run this on the 4th Saturday of each month. And so these are all the ones that we've done. This is our spotlighting one we did last month. And then this is the one we did on Saturday. So we did the baby wipe swipe technique. So I list all the products. I've got the overview there. And then I also list the products that we use for the sample as well. But this is the little sample that we did. And then, so for the Technique Club, I do all of those documents up into a PDF for the ladies and then all for the participants. And then I pop that in an email, and I'll email that to each of you, and then you can print that off and pop that in your notebook folder if you'd like to keep a notebook folder. If you just want to keep a digital copy, then that's up to you as well, if you just keep that somewhere on your computer where you can access it. You don't necessarily have to have the folder, but the idea of doing that little sample is to have that in a folder so you can flick through and have a look at all the different techniques and go back to them later on. So what I did is, so we had the little sample, and then of course I did an additional sample for the club day. And then what I did with my additional sample, because I already had one in my notebook and I didn't need another one, this one I actually made up into a little card using our little scalloped note cards that we have. And I popped that on a blue one and just put a little ribbon on the bottom. So that was the additional one that I put together in the class on Saturday. Then we made this gorgeous one, and all of these are done on shimmery white cardstock. So I'm not sure if the light will pick up, but you might see a bit of shimmer there in the background. I love this one. This one's my favorite. It's nice and bright and colorful. And so I've played with this one quite a bit, and every time you get a different look in the background, because even if you use the same colors, depending on how you swipe it across the cardstock, every time it'll look a bit different. And then this one here as well, which was a night scene with our little silhouettes there. And I embossed the tree as well to make it glossy like the little stargazers down here. And I did a bit of splatter in the background as well. But yeah, see that awesome background? That's created with the baby wipes and just some re-inkers. So it's a real lot of fun, but yeah, very addictive. So that's what we do in club. And then what I do is, for those that want to participate in club, it'll be, what you'll do is you'll place an order, and all this information will be put up online on the weekend coming. So look out for that. But then what you basically do is you place a $42 order in my online store, and I will designate a specific host code, which I will give with the information. You use that host code when you're ordering, and I know that you're part of club. And then that way I can be sure to email you the supply list and the information about the technique. I can then also post you the kits, so I do need to have your address, your street address, so that I can email you those kits. And then I will do a video of showing you how to do the technique and put together the project kits. So it's a lot of fun. Look out for that one. And that will be a monthly class. Now where are my notes? Let me see my notes. Okay, so yes, so that, I think I was just going to say, oh yeah, so also too, those that are participating in club, if we have enough people participating and placing their orders, then you can actually receive a gift from me. So if we have enough for the Stampin' Rewards, then what I'll do is I'll purchase products that I can split up between people. It might be embellishments or ribbon or DSP or adhesives and things like that. It'll be things that I can divide, and everyone that's participated in that month, those gifts will get divided up, and each of those people will get a gift sent to them with their kits. Now, when you place those orders for your club order, it can be anything that you like. So it can be what we're going to be using for that technique, but if you already have those products, you can order whatever you like, so long as it's to the value of at least $42 before postage and handling. Okay, so that's kind of how club works. If you need more information about club, Technique Club, then please let me know. But as I said, there'll be full information released on the weekend, so watch out for that. And we have a lot of fun with these techniques. We have a lot of fun. And then also too, I encourage my participants to then post their photos in our group. So I'll be running that through my classes group. So if you're going to participate, then I can add you into my classes group. Hi, Karen. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, so I can add you into that classes group, and then that way you'll have the opportunity to share your projects with everybody as well. You can also chat in there about that. I'll set up an album so everyone can post their projects into that album, so they're all there together in one spot. So yeah, so it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with club. Also too, there will be, on top of that, there will also be a $5 postage fee that comes to me for me to be able to post those kits out to you. So if you're local and you want to come and pick up your kits, that's fine. But otherwise, I will need to post them out to you. So it's just a $5 fee, which covers the postage and the packaging as well, because I package them up really well so they don't get damaged in the post. But yeah, all the information will be up on the weekend, so just look out for that. Okay, so what is my next bit of news? I've got lots of notes here today. I should have a ruler to see so I can see where I'm up to. I've got notes on notes actually. Yep, done that. Oh, okay, yeah. So the other thing was I put out a newsletter yesterday. And there is information in there about some of the things that I'm talking about today too. So if you're not subscribed to my newsletter already, feel free to check that out. I just posted that yesterday evening. And so it should be on the post beneath this one where my live is filming. So have a look on there. And if you'd like to subscribe to my newsletters, you can go over to my blog at mandyspapercraftcreations.blogspot.com. And then on the top right hand side, there is a subscribe button or icon. If you just click on that, and then that'll take you straight through to the link where you can subscribe to my newsletter. And then every time I put out a newsletter, you'll get one automatically. Yeah, so the other thing I was going to tell you about is, I'll just pop those to the side, out of our way. I think I spoke about it last week, but I have the Best Dressed online class coming up, which I've advertised. And so you can find that in the events section. And I also advertise it on my main business page as well. So look out for that. It's going to be a fun class. And I've got the projects already prepped and ready to go. There are 2 options for the class, and you'll see those in the event. You can either purchase the stamp set, or you can purchase the stamp set and die bundle, and either of those qualifies you for the class. So you just need to use the host code that I've designated for that, and you'll see that in the event section. And then if you can just when I see that order come through, I know that you're wanting to come to the class. And if you go to the events section and just actually let me know that you're coming, so just click on going, then that's another double up. So not a double up, but it's another backup, so that I make sure that I do get that notification that you're joining the class as well. So I can make sure I have enough kits, because the kits are limited. So I need to be sure that I turn it off as soon as, I have enough numbers to cover all of those kits. So the orders for that will close on the 25th of April, which is Saturday coming, or the weekend coming. So orders will close for that class on that day. And then what happens from there is once I get all those orders in, I then prep the kits, and in the next couple of days after that, I send out the kits to you. And then on the 9th of May, I will send you the class video. So I will email that to you directly. So I just need to have your email address. So just be sure that all your contact details are up to date when you go into my online store, or if you're creating a new account in my online store. Be sure to make sure that all your details are up to date, so that I can post those kits out to you, and I can email you the video of the class, because we'll be doing that on the 9th of May. So I'm very excited about my first online class. Technique Club is run a little bit differently to my online classes. So yeah, they're both separate things, and they both have separate host codes as well. So that's another thing to keep in mind. All right. Also too, in my newsletter, and I've been talking about it for a few weeks, I do have available still the Ornate Garden Mega Tutorial Bundle, which has 90 tutorials in it using the beautiful Ornate Garden Suite. which is not a pre-release, an early release suite from the upcoming annual catalogue. And the annual catalogue releases in June, on the 3rd of June. So yeah, if you'd like that, you can jump over to my blog again. All the details are there for that. Or you can go to the link of my newsletter, which is on my business page, as I mentioned, because there's information in that newsletter about it as well, how you can access that. Also too, I have another tutorial called Stamping Around the World, and that is based on all different products from the current mini catalogue, the January to June mini catalogue. And that's got 12 tutorials in it, and that is $20. And so each of those tutorials all the projects are designed by demonstrators all around the world. So go there and have a look for those. And if you have any more questions about that, feel free to get in contact with me. So you can either send me a message, or you can contact me via email as well. And just in case you need my email address, it's mandyspapercraftcreations@gmail.com. Okay, and you can find that information also on my business page here too. Okay, so last Thursday night at 7 o'clock we had Create with Mandy time, which was just a really relaxed crafting time. I didn't do any of this newsy stuff. I just jumped on and started crafting and chatting. It was a lot of fun. Hey Jenny, great to see you. Thanks for jumping on. Yeah, we had a lovely time. Everyone just brought along their own crafting projects that they were working on. We had some knitting, we had some doing their own card making and paper craft projects. We had others that were just watching me, what I was making. And it was really fun, and I was making one of the new card kits that I had just opened. I opened it actually on that event, so that was a lot of fun. So it's just a really relaxed community get together where we just have something to do while we're in this time of isolation. It's just nice just to have that time just to be together. We can chat online and you know, just have a bit of communication with other people. So yeah, so that was really fun. So I'm going to try and make that a regular thing. So the plan is to do it again this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. So I'll advertise that on Thursday. But yeah, if you'd like to join along, grab your cuppa, bring your crafting project along, and be ready at 7 o'clock here on my business page, and we'll do that again then. It'll be a lot of fun. So exciting things this Thursday. Is it Thursday? Yes, Thursday. So we've only got a few days. As demonstrators, we get to see the brand new catalogue, the annual catalogue. So it's very exciting. We're all counting down the days. And we'll actually be able to have a sneak peek. So it'll just be released on PDF to us to begin with, and then they'll start sending us out the actual physical catalogue. So not sure how long that will take, but hopefully we'll have those physical catalogues perhaps next week. But yeah, it'll be great to see the PDF. So my team and I are getting together in the afternoon on Thursday, and we're going to have a little catalogue party. So that'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, it's one of the perks of being a demonstrator is getting to see the products early, and then we will actually be able to, as demonstrators, we get to order them early as well from May next month. So if you would like that opportunity as well, feel free to have a chat to me about joining my team. If you'd like that opportunity to have a look at the new catalogue early and then be able to purchase the products early at a discount, of course, as a demonstrator. So, and also too, a lot of people worry that when they join Stampin' Up that they have to sell to people. You absolutely don't have to. Most of my demonstrators actually don't do that. They just have joined to get the discount. You don't have to do online things like I do. You don't have to do parties or sell or teach classes or anything like that. The majority of, I mean, there are a lot of demonstrators out there that do what I do and more. But a lot of demonstrators just join for the discount. So that is totally fine with Stampin' Up. They're happy for you to do that. I'm happy for you to do that. There's no pressure to sell at all. So if you would like more information about that, let me know, and I can certainly have a chat with you about that. Also too, last week there was a whole heap of new products, well not new products but additional products added to the clearance rack. So if you haven't had a look at the clearance rack, jump onto my online store via my blog and have a look at the clearance rack. There is so much on there. There's heaps of dies and embossing folders, embellishments, all sorts of things, and they're all at really, really reduced prices. So it's a great time to get a bargain, and before they all sell out too, because they won't last too long. Oh, that's the other thing. On Thursday, we will also get a list of the retiring products too. And those retiring products, they get snapped up really quickly. So I'll let you all know about that next week when I come on live. All right, so I think that is all my news. Who is ready to see what I want, I was going to say what I want to make today. Of course I want to make it today, but what I'm going to make with you all today. I'm trying to find somewhere to put my folder. I'm running out of room, running out of space in my craft room. Too many craft projects going on at one time, that's the problem. All right, so as I was explaining at the beginning of my live today, Facebook is doing weird things again with the camera or with the camera angles and how we can utilize the camera within a live. So I actually need to remove my phone from the holder and flip it over to the other camera. I can't just flip the cameras like I used to before. I physically have to do it now. So I'm going to cover up both cameras, both sides, because I'm going to be switching over to the one on the other side now. So I don't make you all dizzy while I do that. And it might be a little bit noisy and clunky because I have to literally remove it from the holder. And hopefully I don't actually click on cancel or finish or anything like that and lose you all. So hold on 2 secs. Let me just get everything ready for you. And I'll cover up those cameras. Just trying to do this the best way I can without pressing any buttons that I shouldn't be pressing. And get that back into the holder very gently. Okay. All right, now flip you all down. Right, good. So now you've got a blue screen, which is good. Okay, let's see. Okay, good. Everything is around the right way. I might just need to move everything. So let me just move that away for a moment, and I'll just use my grid paper just to line everything up so I can get it straight, and then we can continue. So sorry about this. I have no idea. Facebook is so annoying sometimes. Like, can be your best friend and then it can be your worst enemy at times because they keep changing things all the time. All right, so that looks not too bad, I think. Just tip that out just a little bit so that you're not seeing my iPad there. And I'll move that down a bit. Okay. So we've got some light down on the desktop. There we go. All right. So here is, just tip that down again. Oh no, that's okay now. That's all good. All right. So here is my blog. So it's mandyspapercraftcreations.blogspot.com. That is where you're going to find all the information about my my host code, which is here anyway, but if you need that later on, you'll find my host code there. You will also find information there about the tutorials that I mentioned, and very soon I am going to endeavor to get all of my class information up there as well. I've been doing some training on how to do that, so hopefully that will all be up there soon. But otherwise, all my class information you can find out through the events section on this business page where we are now as well. Okay, so, and just remember, if you are ordering with me through my online store, remember to use the host code here so that I can send you your gift. This is also the host code that you'll use if you're ordering from the Ornate Garden suite to get that bundle, when I see that you've used that host code and I get the email with your order and I see what's in your order and I realize that that's what you're ordering, then I know to send that tutorial bundle to you. Sorry, I'm getting my tongue tied all of a sudden. So yeah, so be sure to use that host code, otherwise I won't know to send those things to you. And that's going to be the same host code for the Best Dressed class as well. Okay, so because I've got the Best Dressed class coming up, I thought we'd have a look at that today so that you can get a feel for the suite and you know what I'm talking about, and hopefully you'll really like it and you'll want to do my class with me. Okay, so this is the suite. It's from the mini catalogue, and if you don't already have a mini catalogue, let me know and I'd love to send one to you. This one is still available until June, until the 2nd of June. And it came out in January. And then we've got our big annual catalogue as well, of course. Don't forget we have that one as well. Okay, so this is the gorgeous suite. Very fun and vibrant. We've got some soft pastel colours in there as well, but really, really fun suite of products. We've got stamp set and dies. We've got coordinating ribbon. We've got little mini note cards, which are really, really sweet. They're 3 by 3 inch note cards. And they have some design already printed on them, and then you can add your stamping to that. You can add designer series paper, etc., etc. They come already scored, so you can see them here in this photograph. They're opened out, but they're already pre-scored, so all you do is fold them in half and they're already done for you. And then these gorgeous tassels. We're going to be using a tassel today. And then on the next page, it shows you the stamp set, so you can see all the stamps there, and a bigger photograph there of the dies too, and then it shows you up here the bundle price. Okay, so for my class that's coming up, you can either choose to just buy the stamp set, but just know that if you just buy the stamp set and you don't have the dies, you will need to hand cut or fussy cut each of those images out. Okay, but if you buy the dies and you have a die cutting machine, you'll be able to die cut each of those images. So you can either choose to get the bundle or you can just choose to get the stamp set. It's entirely up to you. Okay, so that's what we're going to be playing with today. Now, also too, just to let you know, if you do purchase the bundle, you do get 10% off, rather than purchasing the stamps now and then thinking later, oh, I really do need the dies. If you get them both together, you do save 10%. Okay? Alrighty. So I have got this project already for you. Now, this is not one of the projects from the class. Okay? This is a new one that I designed just last night, actually. And I've got everything already here. But this is the cute little card that we're going to make today. So we're going to be using the little shoes, the little stilettos, which are gorgeous, and some of this beautiful paper. And I love these. And of course, I love purple. My mum loved purple. And I really just wanted to use this bright, vibrant color. And yeah, so this is the one that we're going to be making today. So I hope you enjoy this project. I'll give you all the dimensions as we go along. And I've got everything all prepped, ready to go. All right, so let me pop that to the side. So we have got the stamp set. Okay, so there's the stamp set. They are a photopolymer stamp set. And you can see I keep any additional little pieces that I've stamped, die cut, whatever that I haven't used. If I've been playing around with design, I keep them in one of our little cello envelopes, our clear cellophane envelopes, and I keep that in the packet with them. So when I go to design or play again with this stamp set, I've got some already pre-cut there that I can go on with. So these are the stamps, and I've already pulled off the ones that we need, and I've mounted them. So they're a photopolymer stamp set. There's even a Happy Mother's Day in there as well. So if you're looking for a stamp set for Mother's Day, this could be one for you as well. Then we've got our die set. Now the dies have got, as you all know, well, any of you that watch me regularly will know, I like to keep my dies on magnetic sheets. It's just easier for me to remove them. And we've got 2 lots of dies there. Now this die here, this one actually makes a little handbag. You can do a handbag and you can do a backpack. I've seen people use it to make aprons, all sorts of things. So this is a really fun die. And then the straps for that are on this side, and there's buckles, and there's also buttons of 2 different sizes as well. And there's even this sweet little one here that you can use as a pocket on the front of the bag. But we're not doing the bag today, we're doing a card. So we're going to be using some of these other dies here. And there's even a great die here as well for some of the sentiments. Okay, so that's the all dressed up dies, and I'll leave those out because we're going to be using them today. And then we've got the gorgeous designer series paper. So there is so much paper in here, and of course I have pulled out already a lot of this. I've set aside some already for the class that's upcoming. I've used some others in projects I've already made, and of course they're all double-sided. So this isn't a full pack, okay? So yeah, don't think that that's all that you get, because it's not. There's more papers than that of different designs as well. I've just already pulled some of those out, and of course they're all double-sided. So we've got some softer colors in there. I love this one. This one I love too. This petal pink polka dot one. So yeah, so we've got that gorgeous paper as well. There's also some coordinating ribbon, which is mint macaron ribbon, which I don't have out today. We're not going to be using that one today. We're using some baker's twine instead. And I'll pop that to the side. And then we've got our tassels. So this is all that I have left of my tassels now. You can see I've already opened up the packet. It's the Best Dressed tassels. And you get... so these will not ordinarily be filled as well. So they come in petal pink, white, and pretty peacock. And with the white ones, you can actually color those with your Stampin' Blends in any color that you want to. So if you want them to coordinate with your project, you can certainly color those. You can also color them with our inks. So if you've got some of the re-inkers, you can dip them in re-inker and color them with re-inker. And there's a total of 18 little tassels in there, which are really adorable. And then we're also going to be using some metallic pearls. Now the metallic pearls are not part of the suite. These are an additional item that I'm using today, as well as the baker's twine. And I'm using a couple of punches as well. I've got the 1.5 inch punch, and I've got the, oh my goodness, I forgot the name of it. This one, which is out of this catalogue as well. Let me find the name of it. I always forget what it's called. The Label Me Lovely punch. We're using that one as well today. All right, so we're just using a couple of additional products today for this project. Okay, so I've got everything here all ready. I've got my little tassel, and we're not coloring our tassel today. That's just going to stay white. So I'll pop that over to the side for later. Now I've already pre-stamped some of these just because I thought that it would save some time. And I've got all of my pieces die cut already. And these are for the next step, so we'll pop those aside. We're going to be using some Stampin' Blends today as well. I have got my Old Olive Light and Dark, and then I have also got my Dark Purple Posy, and I've got my Light Highland Heather. Okay, and the inks we're going to use are... Now you can choose whether or not you use either the Tuxedo Memento Black to stamp your images, or you can use the basic grey. I've done a mixture of both. The shoes I've done in Memento, and the flowers I've done in basic grey. So you can choose to do whichever one. They both work really well. And you can use the Stampin' Blends with both of those. You can't use the Stampin' Blends with Stays On ink. So if you have the black Stays On ink, the jet black Stays On ink, that will not work well with Stampin' Blends. So you either need to use Memento or our classic Stampin' Pads. Okay, and then I've got the gorgeous grape there as well that we're going to use for our sentiment. Okay, now I do have all my stamps mounted up here. However, I did pre-stamp these onto some scraps that I had, because the reason that I did that was because I wanted that ink to be really dry before we start doing our colouring. So what I do is when I'm stamping them, I stamp a whole heap, and there was more than that, but I've only pulled out the ones that I needed. I stamp a whole heap of them, so I've got lots, and I sit down and do a big colouring session, and then I've got lots to go on with. And as you saw in my packet here that I keep with my stamps, I've got some other ones there already coloured where I've been playing with different colours and things like that. I've got some other shoes in there that are already coloured in different colours, playing with the different things. So that's always a good thing to do too. So you've always got then some to go on with. Okay, so we will set these ones aside first, all of our layers, and we'll start with the colouring, so then that can dry while we start to put together our layers. Okay, all right, so the shoes I've got, so on my original, I already had these shoes done previously, so I used them out of my little packet. Now these were stamped in the Memento black, and then when I did the flowers, I did them in the basic grey. So you can choose which way you do it, but I thought today we might do the shoes in the basic grey as well as the flowers in basic grey. And yeah, they'll just be a little bit, the outline will be a little bit softer and not as bold. So these ones that I've stamped in the Memento, I'll set aside, and we are going to use this cardstock, this piece of cardstock later for our sentiment. So we'll come back and stamp that in a moment. Okay, so we might start with our shoes. And as I said, we've got the dark purple posy and the light Highland heather. Now, if you haven't used our Stampin' Blends before, these are an alcohol-based marker, which is why we need to use either the Memento or our classic Stampin' pads with them. And they're beautiful for blending. So I'm just trying to remember which order I did the colours in now. I don't even remember which order I did them now when I coloured them. I think it was this one that I did on the inside. So this is the dark purple posy. And with our alcohol markers, they have two tips. So you have a brush tip and you have a bullet tip. So if you're doing fine work, you'd use the bullet tip. And for larger details, you can use the brush tip. Just always make sure you cap it and click that cap tightly shut when you're not using it, because they're an alcohol base, so they will dry, they'll dry out very quickly. Okay, so when you are, I have stamped these images onto thick Whisper white cardstock, and that allows the blends to absorb really well into the cardstock. Because they're an alcohol-based marker, they do continue to, they've got a high absorbency to them, and they do continue to absorb into the cardstock. So it's always really good to be careful when you're colouring not to go over the outline, because if you do, the colour will actually bleed out. It'll continue to spread and it'll continue to bleed out. So yeah, so just be mindful of that. Now this one here, I'm just going to test this. Okay, so that is slightly darker. So I'm going to go back over that one. I just want to make the inside a little bit darker. I should have used this one first. So we'll go back over that there. And with the, if you were, you can use whatever color you like, but I wanted to pull out, so we're using this designer series paper from the paper pack, and I wanted to pull out the purple tones in the shoes. So that's why I went with these, but we do have, we've got the light and the dark in both of these colors. So you can choose to just use the light and dark in one color. It's just up to you which color you'd like to do. And as I said, I've done the shoes in lots of different colors. And so it just depends on the look that you're going for, as I always say, because we always you know, we always have different ideas of how we want it to look. Just go very lightly there on the heel. And then if you want that to be darker, you can go back over it. You can do highlights with the darker color. If you want to add a bit of shadowing. So you might want to add a little bit of shadowing down here. Oh, if I can get the lid off. There we go. Oh, hi Fee, great to see you. So if you want to add a little bit of shadowing, you can go down here and perhaps on the toe there, around the heel, put a little bit of shadowing there, just to add a little bit of depth of color. And then you can blend that, and I'm not sure if you'll even see that on camera because it's quite faint. And then you just blend that out with the lighter color, just so you take away any of those harsh lines. These two actually blend together really well, so you don't tend to get the harsh lines with these two colors. There we go. So this time I will show you doing it the other way. Hi Robin, great to see you. So this time I'll use the dark first. So this is the, well actually this is the light Highland Heather, but the Highland Heather is a darker color than the Purple Posy. So we'll just go over those little bits where we just want to highlight or add that depth of color, and then we'll blend that out. So you can do it, different people do their coloring in different ways. Some lay down the light, then do the dark, then do the light over the top. Some start with the dark and then just do the light over the top. It's really up to you. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. Everybody just likes to do it their own way, and that is perfectly fine. So you just find what works for you, and then yeah, just do it that way. So just blend that out. You just want to blend it so that you don't have any harsh lines of where you've added that darker color. And then obviously with anything, the more color you lay down, the darker it's going to become. So you just keep laying down the color till you get the desired color that you're after. Hi Chetska, great to see you. Thanks for joining me. So we'll go over the, oops, I think that's the wrong color for the heel. I think the heel was in the darker one, wasn't it? It's all right, we will just go over that with our darker color. Yeah, it's a bit easier doing the heel with the bullet tip, I have to say. It's a bit finer. There we go. Great. All right. So, yeah, so you can see I've gone a little bit too far with this one, and it's starting to bleed out a little bit. But hopefully once we die cut that won't be too obvious. We do have a color lifter, which while that color is still wet, we can use the color lifter just to push that color back in towards the shoe, which helps. It acts sort of like an eraser, but it's not really erasing the color as such. It's actually pushing the color away from where you're laying that one down. So if we just push that color back a bit, that pushes it back into the actual shoe. And then you'll see if I turn that over, you'll see how those colors bleed through the cardstock. So always make sure you've got something protective down on your work surface. Okay. All right, so we'll pop those ones aside to dry, and then we'll go on with our flowers. And now with the flowers, I like to, I'll start with the light Highland Heather, and I'm going to use a bullet tip this time because I'm just going to lay down some of this darker color in the center. Actually, we'll do one flower at a time. And I'm just going to put a little bit of the dark color just here and there, just to add some little highlights of color. And there's no rhyme or reason to this. I'm just adding it wherever I want to. And with your blends, always be mindful to work in small areas at a time, because they blend when the ink is still wet. So if that ink dries out, then it's not going to blend with the other color that you're laying down. So you want to just yeah, just work really quickly. If you're working on a large image, just do small sections of the image at a time. Don't try and do a whole heap all at once. Okay, so we've got some nice tone happening in that one. I'm not sure if you can see that. If I hold that up to the camera, you can see the different tones in that one. It's just subtle, but I think it's nice to have, you know, just the different tones going on in there. So just keep going with that colour. Does anybody have any questions at all for me? Or is there anything that you're unsure about or you'd like me to go over again if I went over any of that information too quickly? Just let me know in the comments if there's anything that you wanted to know. And this is really easy. Like, I am certainly no artist. In fact, I didn't even do very well at art at school. I loved art at school, but I didn't do very well at it. I think I only did it in year 7 and maybe year 8. But it wasn't one of my electives because it wasn't something that came naturally to me. So no, I'm not a colorist. I'm not an artist. But the markers do all the work for you. So you don't need to be great at those things. And you just get beautiful effects. There we go. So there's those two. We'll do the green leaves on this one too. So I'm going to use the dark old olive to just add a little bit at each of these stems first. And again, no rhyme or reason. I'm just laying down a little bit of colour. And then I'm going to blend that out with my light old olive. So I'm just spreading that colour up the leaf, that dark colour, just spreading that and blending that into the lighter colour. I'm not sure if how well you'll see that on camera because it's quite a small image. Would you like the camera closer, or is the camera distance okay at the moment? Just let me know. I can move the camera down a bit closer if you'd like it a bit closer to what I'm doing. So just blend that out, just keep going over it until it blends in. So these ones have started to dry out a little bit, see, because I did them probably a bit too early because I laid down that dark colour when I did the leaves on the other one. I probably should have done them separately. There we go. Okay, so that one, those two flowers are done, and now we'll do these ones. Set those ones aside to dry, and we'll do these ones in the same way. So we've got the light Highland Heather, and we'll just do them in exactly the same way. Just laying down some colour here and there. Hey Julie, oh, camera's fine, thank you for that. Awesome, good. It's always hard to know when other people are watching back because I can only see it, you know, sort of in a small frame. But when other people are watching back, it's always good to know how it looks to other people. All right, and then we'll just blend that up. And in fact, these colours go really well together. You don't need to do too much blending actually with these two colours. They're really easy to work with, these two. And I think each time I've actually done these flowers, I've changed up the colours. Each time I've done different cards with these, I've changed up the colours, and I always get a different effect every time, or a different like coloration every time. But they always look great, no matter. So while I'm colouring, let me know if you've been making some cards. Have you been sending them out to share the love and share the sunshine to other people? Hopefully you have been able to do that. I've still got mine on the go. I've got lots to get out, so I'm doing them gradually, sending a few out each day, or each couple of, not every day, but each couple of days I'm sending a few out to depending on when I can get to the post office or get somebody to go to the post office for me. So yeah. And how's everyone coping with the isolation? Are you all coping okay? Is anyone going stir crazy yet? And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put my glasses on, so my eyes are starting to go blurry now. All right, there we go. All right, and then we'll just do our little leaves, and then they will be done. So we lay down a little bit of the dark first. So then we can blend that out. All right. Oh, I missed that little one there. Just a little bit on him. And blend those out. So with these Stampin' blends, you can, if you're using a large section, I find it best to use like a circular motion. If you're working on a smaller section such as these leaves, I'm just using a really light touch just with a stroking motion. But when I'm using a big, and of course I'm using the bullet tip too. So yeah, so you can use a combination of the different strokes. It just, I find they work really well with a circular sort of motion. There we go. All right, they are done. Okay, so we'll set those aside to dry. We'll pop them all up here to dry. And then we'll go ahead and we'll start layering up our card front. All right, so we have all our pieces here. So our base is Daffodil Delight, and that measures at 21 centimeters by 14.85, and it's scored and folded at 10.5 centimeters. And then of course, as always, we burnish our folded edge there with our bone folder to make a nice crisp fold there. All right, then we have our matte layer of Gorgeous Grape. Isn't this a beautiful, vibrant color? And it goes so well with this designer series paper, just beautiful. So this one measures at 14.2 centimeters by 9.8 centimeters. So let's pop that one down. I'm just going to use a bit of snail adhesive today. Just add a bit more in the middle there to make sure that holds nice and tight. Okay, so we're just going to create a nice big Daffodil Delight border. There we go. All right, then we have our designer series paper. So on one side, we've got this beautiful, vibrant floral pattern. And on the other side is the old olive with the white polka dots. And we're going to be using a strip of that opposite side. But our main piece is this gorgeous side. So then you can decide which way you like the design to go. Sometimes some of the designs look better up one way than the other. With this one, it doesn't really make much difference, I don't think, because the design's sort of going all over the place. So I think I'll do it, which way do I want to? I think I'll go that way. All right, so we'll then adhere that down with snail as well. Oh, I didn't give you the dimensions for this one. This one is 13.8 centimeters by 9.4 centimeters. Okay, and then we're just going to adhere that one as well. Actually, I should take it off the base to get the snail on there so it's nice and flat. Okay, and then we'll just pop that down. So we've got that gorgeous, gorgeous grape border. There we go. And then the opposite side of that, as I said, was this gorgeous polka dot. And so this one is 13.8, so it's the same length as this one, and it measures at 4 centimeters. So you can use this, so these designer series papers come in 6 by 6 inches, and so basically this is part of the offcut. When you cut this piece down, this is part of the offcut, so you're utilizing those additional pieces that are left over when you cut your card front layer. And then what's left over from that, then you can use to decorate the inside of your card when you do your insert. Okay, and so then we're just going to pop that down over to the left side, just leaving a little bit of a border of that designer series paper to the side. I don't know what that measurement is. I just basically used my eye for that. What have we got there? So it is about, it's about 0.7 centimeters. And then we've got our gorgeous vellum. Now with the vellum, because it is opaque, you only want to put adhesive on here that's where it's going to be covered up by the next layer. So you'll notice with the card here, the vellum is sort of central there, but it's covered up by the label. So that's where I've put my adhesive, and I've also put a little bit underneath where the shoes are, which I added later. Once I saw where the shoes were going, I just snuck a little bit of adhesive under there as well, just so that those shoes are not flapping around as well with the vellum. Okay, so we'll pop a little bit of snail in the center of that vellum, because we know that that's going to be, well actually it's a little bit higher up than, just work out which way is my cut edge. Yep, that's right. It's a little bit higher than center. So we'll just lay down a little bit of vellum. Now the vellum is just going to be offset a little bit. It's not exactly in the middle. It's going to be offset, it's about in the middle top to bottom, but on the DSP, I'm just offsetting it a little bit so I've got this border on this side. About there. No exact science or measurement to that piece. You just lay that down where you'd like to have it. So that's all good. All right, so that's our base ready to go. Now we can go on from there and do our twine. I usually like to do the twine at the end once I get all the other elements on. You can do it at this step if you'd like to, but we'll wait until we get all our other elements on. And basically it's just going to be wrapped around twice around the entire card front, and then it's going to be tied in a knot here, and we're going to attach our little tassel to that. So you can either do that at this step or you can do it at the end. I always like to do it at the end when I get to the embellishing part. All right, so we'll set that aside. Now let's go on and stamp our sentiment. I forgot about the sentiment when I was doing the other colouring. So we're going to use our gorgeous grape ink. And I'm using the stamp set from the Dress to Impress stamp set, and it says kindness is always in style, and then I'm going to be punching that out with my circle punch. So I need to make sure that I'll turn it this way. I need to make sure that I leave room around it to get that circle punch. Beautiful. That stamps out so beautiful. Oh, I didn't give you the dimensions of the vellum piece. The vellum piece is 11 centimeters by 5.7 centimeters. All right, I'll just give this stamp a quick little clean on my chamois. All right, so we're going to be using the 1.5 inch, I keep forgetting the camera's on this side now. Usually it's on the other side. The 1.5 inch circle punch. So if you're unfamiliar with our punches, they have a closing mechanism here so that you store them flat, and then that way they can stand up. You can lay them on their side. They sit nice and flat that way too. So depending on how you're storing them. So when you're ready to use it, you just hold it firmly closed with one hand and then just slide that button up, and then it just releases it open like that. Okay. So then we're just going to punch out our little sentiment. And again, any of you that have joined in a little bit later, I have got a class coming up using this Best Dressed suite, but this is not one of the cards from the class. This is an additional card that I have designed especially for today. Okay, and then we're going to use our beautiful label punch, which I keep forgetting the name of. Again, I've forgotten it. Let me look it up again. Label Me Lovely punch, and that is from the mini catalogue. So we're just going to be stamping a Daffodil Delight label. And then we're going to layer these two up using dimensionals. So let me grab my Stampin' Dimensionals, and we'll use some large ones. And I'll just pop 3 behind our circle. And we're going to have the straight sides of the label on the left and the right side. So then we'll just pop that down onto that label, and that will be ready to adhere. Oh, I need my little pricker to get my backings off. I didn't get my pricker out. Okay, so then that's just going to pop in the middle. Try and get that up straight-ish. That looks about right. And then we'll pop some dimensionals onto the back of that label as well. So we're going to have two layers of dimensionals happening on this one. I'll use my little offcuts here at the side. Let me get my... Just cut these ones out so that we can use these as well. Always make sure you use your edges, ladies. You probably see me do this every time. Don't waste any of those edge pieces of your dimensionals because they are really useful. Oops, I've got an extra little one there. I don't need that one. Okay, and I'm just going to pop one in the middle as well, just to make that nice and secure. All right, now this time let me grab my little, actually I'll use my take your pick tool, my handy dandy tool, and we'll take those backings off. There we go. And then that label is going to line up with the edge here of the vellum. Okay, so we're just going to line that up and up towards, oh, not exactly in the half, sort of, I mean, not in the half, not in the middle. It's going to be up a bit from the center. So up about there, line that up there. Okay, there we go. Now we are ready for our shoes and our flowers. So we need to die cut those. So let's set that aside for the moment, and I'll bring in my Big Shot. Move all of those out of the way. Whoops. All right, I'll bring in my Big Shot, and I put a nice new plate on there last night for my top plate, and my bottom plate was reasonably new because the other one I had been using on the bottom was getting so warped. I thought, nope, it's time for a new one. Okay, so I'm going to line these up so that I can cut 3 at once, and we'll get our dies out. Let me just move that up just a little bit. Okay, so we've got our 2 flower dies there and our shoe. Now we've only got 1 of each of these, and we need to cut 2 of each of these. So we have to do 2 passes through the Big Shot. So that's that one, that's the double one, and that's that one. I'll line them up a bit better than that because I'm going to use some of this washi tape. I always keep washi tape up on the top of my my Big Shot, ready for when I need to adhere my dies. I'm actually not using the magnetic platform today, so that's why I'm using the washi tape, just to hold those dies in place. So I'll pop a die down on each one of those just to make sure that they don't move. I always have a collection of washi tape. I've got quite a lot of it I've collected over the years, and so I don't use it as much nowadays on my projects. I more so use it for this purpose these days. And I'll get a little bit more for this one. What have I got? What have I got? Oh, that one's a current one. I don't want to use a current one. I'll use this one. This is another old one that I had from somewhere. Okay, and then, yeah, so we just, when you're lining up your dies, with these new dies, they actually hug the stamped image. With the old dies we used to have, you would see a white border around them, but you don't with these ones. They actually hug the image. In fact, I don't know that I've got that one lined up at exactly the right spot. Let's just do that one again. This is probably the most fiddly part of the whole process, is just the die cutting. So once we get this done, then it won't take long to put together the rest of the card. There we go. Okay, and then we pop our top plate on and we'll just take that through. Oh, I just realized you've got the light shining on that plate. Sorry about that. That's probably quite annoying. All right, I'll send that through back to the other side again, ready for the next pass. So there's one flower, one of the double flowers, and oops, our shoe has stuck to the plate. And there's one shoe. Okay, so we'll do that again with the next ones. I'm really looking forward to seeing our new die cutting and embossing machine in our new catalogue. Can't wait to see that. We'll actually get a sneak peek of that on Thursday when we get to see the new catalogue as demonstrators. So that'll be exciting. My other big shot, if you watch me regularly, you might have heard me say it before, but my other big shot, my handle broke a while ago. And so I've just been using this one. And thankfully this has been holding out okay. I noticed though that the rubber on the handle is starting to wear out a little bit. So I really, really am going to need that new die cutting machine very soon. This is very sticky washi tape, this one. It's actually stuck quite well. It tore the cardstock a little bit, but not the part that I need, which is good. So that's good. So the other day I was asking my viewers what they preferred, if they preferred punches or dies, and I got a really mixed reaction from everybody actually. Some said they preferred punches because they're easy and quick, and some people said they prefer their dies. Oops. So yeah, I think everybody just prefers different, but we're using both on this project, both dies and punches. So I like both, just depending on what I'm doing. You do get a lot more designs with the dies than you do with punches. And punches are harder to store, of course, too, because they're big and bulky, but they are really handy just to grab. And especially the labels, like I love with the labels and the, you know, like your big bold shapes. I love having punches for those. It's really handy to just grab one off the shelf. I'm actually running out of room to store all my punches though. That's the problem. Well, that's the problem for me, but I'm wondering if any of those are going to retire. And then I'll have to replace them with new ones from the new catalogue. Okay, so that should be all of our die cutting now. Beautiful. We'll get rid of the big shot out of the way. Okay, so here's our pieces that we've die cut. And you might notice too, and hopefully the camera will pick up on that, that the colouring that I did is actually lightened as it's dried. So you'll find that the colours do change a little bit as the ink dries, and it's always a good idea to have a little sample of your colours. So if you have a collection of Stampin' Blends, or even with your Stampin' Write markers, if you make up yourself a little chart of all the different colours, then you know you can always use that chart. I have one as well. I just didn't pull it out today, but I have one that I use, and then I know exactly what colour I'm going to get in the final result once it dries. That's really helpful. Okay, so let's bring back, oops, not that one, that's our finished one. We don't want that one, we want this one. Okay, so how are you liking this card so far, everybody? Let me know how you're liking it. Okie doke, so we're going to start with our shoes. So the shoes are going to be, so everything's going to be raised except for one of the lots of flowers. But with the shoe, I'm going to have one shoe on this yellow, on the Daffodil Delight level, and the other shoe is going to be up on this level. So this one's going to have some single dimensionals here, but the other shoe is going to have some double dimensionals and some single dimensionals because it's going to overlap this one a little bit. So we'll start with this one. This is the easiest one, and I'll bring in my minis this time. So we'll use some of these gorgeous little minis, which are fantastic for small pieces. Okay, now I like to secure that heel as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut one of the minis I'm actually going to, oh, actually no, I didn't use those. What I used was the edge pieces. I actually used the edge pieces of the large one in between those two larger edge pieces. There's a little bit, and so I just used that little tiny bit from in between those two pieces. And that seemed to be a good fit for the heel. It just fits beautifully on the heel. Okay, now I just realized I've put one right at the top there, but I'm going to be having that on that layer, so I need to take that one back off because that bit there is just going to have a little bit of glue because it's going to sit on the Daffodil Delight that's already mounted up. So we're going to pop a bit of Tombow on that one, and we've just got the dimensionals on these other parts here. There we go. Bring in our Tombow. I'll just pop a little bit of Tombow just at the top there so that grips onto the Daffodil Delight. Oh, it's stuck to my finger. Okay, and I want to have that over to the side here and just going off the vellum slightly. Oops, that's probably a little bit too far over. Oh, no, it's stuck now. That's where it's going. Okay, all good. All right, so you notice that's where I put the glue, was just there so that that glue will grip onto the Daffodil Delight, and the rest is mounted up with the Stampin' Dimensionals. Now for the other shoe, it's going to slightly overlap that shoe. So we need to work out where we want that. Now you can put it on the same level if you want to, but I wanted to make a bit more dimension and have it coming up off this one. So because that's 2 layers of dimensionals, I know that under the main part of my shoe, I'm going to need 2 layers of dimensionals, except where it's overlapping on that one, because that one's already up on 1 layer. So I just need 1 additional layer on this one. Does that make sense? So you just have to really look to see where it's going to sit and where you're going to need how many layers. So I know that I'm only going to need 1 layer under the toe. I'm not putting any under the heel because I know that that is going to be sitting on the white part up there. But below the heel, I know I'm going to need 2 layers. So I'll do 1. I'll remove the backing. Sorry, I feel like I'm working over to the side here because I'm so used to the camera being on the other side. Let me just move that over. And I'll move over here where you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we've got our 1 layer, and then we're going to add our 2nd layer on top. And I won't remove the backing to that yet because I'm going to keep double checking exactly where. Hey, Athena. Oh, you just finished your work, did you? No worries. And then we're going to have another double down here on the sole just there. So remove that. Put another one on top of that. Now where the shoe is going to be overlapping here, so on this part of the shoe here, you only want a single layer of dimensional because you still want it to be supported. You don't want it to sag, but it's going to be sitting on top of this shoe, which is already on 1 layer. So does that make sense? So you just have to really have a close look at where your shoe is going to sit. and how it's going to be best supported. Now then we've got the heel as well. We don't want the heel to end up sagging. So I'll get 2 of those tiny pieces again from my edges. I've got one here. Oh, that one's not cut. Let me cut that one there. And then I've got one up the other end that I can still salvage. So see how handy all these little pieces come in? How handy they are, I mean. And I know that the heel is going to need 2 layers because it's going to be sitting out there on its own. And I'll just pop that second layer down there. Okay, now we'll remove all of those backings, and then I'll pop a little bit of glue at the very top part that's going to be going over onto the Whisper White sentiment circle or label. There we go. The mini dimensional backings are a little bit harder to get off because they're so tiny and fiddly. Pop them straight in the bin. All right, we'll add a little bit of glue, a little bit of Tombow up here, or as it's named in the catalogue, multi-purpose liquid glue. Whoops. Okay, and then we'll position that. Now when you go to position this one, you've just got to be a little bit careful because you want to make sure that where you've got those single dimensionals, they're only overlapping on, I think I've got that one over a little bit too far, there we go, that they're only overlapping on the shoe where the single dimensionals are, not where you've put down the double. There we go. So if I show you now on the camera, I'm not sure if you'll see that, that's where the double dimensionals are. And then the single dimensionals just under here and under here where it's overlapping the other shoe. Okay. All right, now let's do our flowers. Oh, I just realized I colored additional flowers. I only needed 1 set of flowers. I didn't need the others. So that's okay. These will go into my little packet that I have in my stamp case, and I'll have them ready for another project. Oh, you like the vellum on there, Jenny? Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? It just softens that those bold colors. It's still, you can still see that beautiful designer series paper coming through, but it just softens it a little bit. Because if I was to put those shoes straight down onto that designer series paper, you might lose them because, you know, the paper is so busy. So it just helps to break it up a little bit. Okay, so with my double flower, I'm going to just use my Tombow again, and that's just going to be adhered flat. And we're just going to pop that up about here. Because we've got the Tombow on, we can always move that. And this one here is going to have a dimensional because I'm going to pop it up onto the yellow level. So we just want, actually I'll get a large one. We just want a large dimensional over towards the leaves. And we only need 1 on this one. And then where that's going to be, oops, a dimensional backing, everything's sticking to me now. And where that's going to be overlapping onto the Daffodil Delight label, again, we'll just use a little bit of Tombow. That just helps to secure things, just so that they don't warp, they don't, you know, they don't do anything crazy. There we go. And because we've got the Tombow on those ones still, and they're still wet, we can still jiggle them down if we want them under a little bit more. There we go. So that's all adhered. Now, because we've put glue down on that vellum, just to let you know, it might cause that to curl just a little bit. And also too, we've got, oh, actually I've adhered that down quite well because the dimensional on the toe goes out over that piece of vellum, so I don't need to add any more glue under there. But I might sneak a little bit of glue just under that top bit of vellum there, underneath those flowers, just to hold that down so that doesn't curl up with the glue on it. So just sneak it under there, just where those, underneath those flowers, so it's not going to be seen. And just give it a gentle press. You don't want to put too much glue because you don't want it oozing out from under those flowers, because you don't want to see messy glue coming, you know, out from under that vellum. And then there we go. And then we just have to add our twine now and then our bling. So we'll bring in our bling, we'll bring in our twine and our little tassel. I can move these out of the way. Okay, so with the twine, I actually didn't measure that, to be honest. I completely forgot to measure it before I tied it. And so basically all you need to do is just, you have so much on this roll anyway, just wrap it around the whole card front. Whoop. I'll just make sure I've got enough to tie off there. I might just pull that through a little bit. Okay. So just make that nice and firm, and I'll show you when I've completed it. And I always like to overlap mine a little bit too. So basically all I've done is I've just wrapped it around the entire card front. Now if you wanted to, you could just wrap it around the layers, but you'd want to layer all of your layers first before you did all the you didn't have to do all the sentiments for as well, but just do all these layers, all your paper and cardstock layers first, and then tie it around that layer. But I think it's easier just to tie it around the whole card front, and I don't mind that you can see it on the inside. And then you're just going to tie that in a knot. We'll tie that in a knot, and then we're going to add our tassel on. Actually, we might add our tassel on that layer before we tie the next knot, and that will hold that on. Or you can tie a knot first and then put your tassel on, whichever is easiest for you. There's no rhyme or reason, just whatever is easiest. There we go. And then we can just position our little tassel. And if you feel like you need to tie that on a bit tighter, then just do an additional knot. And then we'll just trim those ends off. There we go. And then just reposition our tassel on that ring, because the ring will slide through where you've tied it. And then we'll just get that to sit nicely where you want it. Now, if you've tied your tassel there and you think, oh, that's a bit too close to the flowers, you can actually, because you've wrapped that twine around the entire card, you can just slide the whole thing up. So if you just give a little jiggle and just bow your card slightly, you can just move it up. As you see, I've just moved it up there a little bit. So there we go. And now we'll just add our embellishments. So we've got the metallic pearls here in the gold and silver, and you see that I've already used quite a few of these ones, especially the gold ones. Not so many of the silver ones, but I love the little gold ones. So I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to pick them up. Oops. And we'll pop one down here on the sentiment label, and then we're going to pop some up here on the flowers. There we go. Alrighty, so we'll pop that aside. And there we have our finished card. So there's our original and there's our second one. So now I've got 2 more cards to send out to people. So what did you think about that project, ladies? And do you like that suite? It's a really fun suite to work with. Nice and bright and vibrant. These cards would cheer anyone up, really, because they're so fun and colourful. And you'll notice too with the shoes how you can see the different colour. So with this one I use the basic grey to stamp the shoes, and with this one I use the memento, and I've used the different purple tones in our Stampin' Blends as well to colour those, so you can see how you can get the different colorations. So both cards are just slightly different, which is fantastic. So I hope you all really enjoyed that. If you have any questions for me, feel free to ask me. Oh, thank you, Robin. You like that one? Awesome. Yes, and as I said, this is not one of the cards from my upcoming class. This is an additional one that I have designed especially for today. But remember that I do have my Best Dressed card making class coming up online. Have a look in the event section for that. And I would love to have you join in on the class. Just remember that you need to get those orders in for that class by this coming Saturday, the 25th. And then the class will actually go live on the 9th of May. So that will give me time to then prepare your kits, get them posted out to you, get the video ready for you, and then you'll have the video on the 9th of May for the class. So if you have any questions about any of that, feel free to get in contact with me, either you can send me a message via Facebook on Messenger, or you can contact me at my email address, which is similar to my blog, only it's mandyspapercraftcreations@gmail.com. I need to add that to my label, don't I? So I won't flip the camera back up because, as I told you at the beginning, with the flipping issues, I can't just easily flip the camera up anymore. So it would require me to take it back out of the holder and all of that. So I won't do that now. But I hope you all have a great week. I look forward to seeing some of you on Thursday night at 7 o'clock too for our relaxed crafting time. Feel free to bring along your crafting projects on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. I'll be here in my business page again. And bring your cuppa along, sit in your trackies or your pajamas or whatever, and let's just have fun together on our own projects. And yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Okay, so have a great week, everyone. Take care, look after yourselves, stay safe, and I hope you all stay well. Happy crafting, everyone. See you later.